Hello class and welcome. This is Mr. Griffith and this video is meant to help you to wrap your brains around my classroom protocols. So let's get started. First, when you arrive each day, you will log into your Chromebooks and you will log into Moodle, which is our online classroom environment, and you will begin working. Once we get into the groove of the class, you will know what you need to do. You do not need me to explain it to you on a day-to-day basis. I will, of course, be here to help you with everything we're working on. But once we get up and running, you'll know what to do. So when you come into class, go ahead and get started. Don't wait for me. So, once we're in class, what happens if you need to leave? Well, the first thing there is you must need to leave. That doesn't mean you're feeling a little fidgety, so you want to get up and go get a drink, so you're going to run off to the main hallway or something. No. Stay in the room and get good work done. Learn. We all have sudden restroom needs. It's going to happen. That's fine. That's really about it, unless the office calls for you, you're leaving early, so the office will call for you, or you've been held over by another teacher because you're taking a test or something has come up in that class, in which case you bring me a pass from that teacher or you'll have them call me. Either way, on a day-to-day basis, you come into class on time and you stay in class until the end. And that's really how it needs to be. So, being on time. If you come in late, I will mark you as tardy. If you're tardy 3 times, it counts as an absence for purposes of the district deciding whether or not you need to make up days, etc. So what happens when you are legitimately absent? Because that will happen to most of us. I will miss days. Some of you will miss days, and that's okay. You need to know what work is due, you need to know what work is assigned, and you need to make sure you're doing everything you can to have that work done. If something is due and you miss the day that it's due, it's still due the day you get back. If you have an unexcused absence, then you may get zeros for the work that was due on the day you have an unexcused absence. If the absence becomes excused, and I've given you a 0, then you just need to let me know that. I don't get little fancy pop-up windows or anything that say, Student Z got an excused absence instead of an unexcused absence. That's not how it works. So, you're the responsible party. Let me know if I've given you a 0 for that purpose and you get the unexcused absence converted. Academic integrity. What does that mean? Well, it means that in the academic realm, you need to have integrity. It means you won't cheat. It means you will be responsible for your own work as an individual. If your teacher has not given you permission to use outside resources or to work with someone, then you're not allowed to do it. You must do your own work. That's how this contract works. You go out of your way to learn. I go out of my way to help you learn. Now, this very document that you're looking at right here, the video that you're watching is meant to help you succeed on an assignment. That assignment is a test. And on that test, you're allowed to use this document. See how it works? I've given you permission to do that. But on most of our tests, that will not be the case. So if I catch you with a window or a tab open with material in it, or just have one open and I don't know what's in it, I may find you guilty of cheating. And that is never a good thing. So what happens if you have a phone out or you have a tab or window open when I'm looking at your screens? Well, if I find that you have been cheating, then I will notify your parents and I will notify the principal and I will have a little discussion with you. And if it should happen a second time, then you receive a 0 for the class and you have to take it again, even if it's the end of the year and you had an A in the class. And if you're a senior and that happens, you don't graduate. So the short of it is, don't cheat. Grading system. All right, so I will go over the grading system in more detail elsewhere, but for now, here's how the class will be set up. You will have, in Moodle, some readings to read and some videos to watch on a weekly basis. At a minimum, you'll have readings. Sometimes you'll have videos. They will be embedded with questions. So it will be like taking a test. And in the test, question 12 will have something that you read. And then it will have one or more answers that you'll have to choose, and you'll get grades for that. But the answers will most often be built right into the question, meaning you'll have reading followed by a question about that reading, and you don't have to know anything ahead of time. You just have to pay attention, and you can ask me for help, and it's 45% of your grade for the course. So, wrap your brain around that for a moment. 45% of your grade is based on you answering questions while the answers are right in front of you. Why would I do that? Because I have found that it encourages students to actually do readings, and that makes you smarter. So it's in your best interest. All right, you'll also have what I'm calling practice questions here. They are new questions about whatever content we're covering at that time. You have to answer them to move on in the class. You will have to get a minimum score in order to move on, but you will not get credit for doing it. It just is something you'll do to move forward. But then you'll take both a practice test and a real test for each module that we do. The practice tests, you'll be allowed to look up answers. You'll be allowed to ask me for help, and they'll be worth 10% of your grade. The real tests, you are not allowed to look up anything. You're welcome to ask me for help. I may or may not give it to you depending on your question, and they're worth 45% of your grade. So the real tests are just like most other real tests. And that's how each module is pretty much going to be structured. You have something to read, and you get credit for it. You get exposure to some new questions, and then you get to put those questions into practice on both the practice test and the real test each week. And the practice tests and the real tests will both be cumulative in nature. Whoa, what does that mean, Mr. Griffith? Great question. So, they're cumulative in that the content accumulates on a week-to-week, module-to-module basis. So, in Module 3, you'll be exposed to some exciting new materials, but then in Modules 4 and 5 and 6 and all the way up through whatever the last modules are, you'll continue to have questions asked about that material. So, each time you learn something for this class, it will not just go away after that week's test. There will be some questions about it off and on for the rest of the year. So, class participation and curves for grades. I may have some type of participation grade, and I may curve grades at the end of the term. If I have participation grades, they will normally be set up to help students to do better, not as a form of punishment. And as far as curves, same deal. I will never curve a grade down, but I may curve grades up. Use of technology. You do not need your cell phones in class. Period. If you're having some type of family emergency, all right, there may be an exception there. That is not going to be the norm. You have Chromebooks provided to you by the school district. You are responsible to have them with you each day in class, and you will do your work on them. Leave your phones somewhere else. Students with special needs. If you, as a student, whether you have an IEP 504 or just have some particular need that you think I need to know about in order to help you to succeed in class, then let me know, and I will do my best to help you. All right, that's it. Those are the classroom protocols. Thank you very much for paying attention to them. The document that I used for this video is available to you via Moodle, and you will have a test to take over the document, therefore also over this video. So, I'm here, live and in person with you in class, if you're here in class. So don't hesitate to ask me for help if you need it. Thanks.